Hey Bulldogs, let's see what's happening this week on Cold Blue News. Caleb has an update on Fall 2 sports, George makes an appearance with Don't Harsh My Mellow, we have a sneak peek on the video production course, and Vincent talks about the anti-Asian racism in America. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Hey Bulldogs, welcome back to Cold Blue News Season 3. I'm Matt Messina, here with Angela Rossi, 6 feet apart.
As we continue with Financial Literacy Month, here's a quick fact about job openings. A recent report from Career Horizons indicates that between 70 and 80% of all job openings are never advertised, yet many people who are seeking employment spend hours searching the internet.
So how are people finding jobs? The answer is through their network of colleagues and trusted acquaintances. This might mean stepping out of your comfort zone and initiating conversations with potential employers, while also establishing and mainstreaming strong relationships with coworkers you may encounter in the future.
Moving on, let's go to Caleb Tobin, who has a quick update on how the Fall 2 season is going and plans for the upcoming spring season.
Hey Bulldogs, welcome back to another sports update. The Bulldogs have been playing very well this season. For the overall standings, the varsity football team is currently 2-1, winning their big senior night game 28-8 against Atlantis Charter. Boys soccer is currently 5-2 with one tie. Girls soccer is 4-1 also with one tie. Cross country is 0-2, and volleyball is 4-3. Now, with the Fall 2 season more than halfway through, it's time to look ahead to spring sports. Our very own athletic director, Mr. Case, has been hard at work preparing for the upcoming season.
It's scheduled to start May 4th, and then we go, it looks like with schedules until about June 10th for the regular season, and I think there may be a little postseason the week after. So it won't be too far after school. Obviously, seniors get done a little bit earlier, but that happens every year. And, I think people are going to be excited and happy to play. So the fact that school could possibly be getting close to the end, I don't think it's really going to affect anything in a negative way. I think we're going to just keep going on. I think the protocols will be similar for all of the sports. Obviously, they're all outdoors in the spring season. So we'll have baseball, softball, and track. And we'll try and run JV programs for each one too, so we can have as many kids participating as possible. Follow the mask wearing protocols and social distancing guidelines. And I think if everyone does that, we've had a good model and a good, little track record of success here over the past 2 seasons. If we just keep doing what we're doing, everybody sticks to the plan, I think the spring will go just as well as Fall 2 and the winter season.
With the end of the Fall 2 season on the horizon, it looks like spring sports is shaping up to be a great season. This has been Caleb Tobin for Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Caleb. Last night, the girls and boys soccer teams faced off against Avon. The boys won 5-2 and the girls won 2-0.
Earlier this week, Superintendent Hamilton announced return dates for high school students. Our very own George Starr is here with his thoughts on the matter.
Imagine going back to school fully instead of staying hybrid. Couldn't be us, right? Sadly, it's probably going to be soon. The Department of Education is pushing for all schools on all grades to be back fully by the end of the year. They don't have any set dates for grades 9 through 12 yet, but we all know it's coming. An hour after I finished recording everything from yesterday, we got a notification that we go back at the beginning of May. Just disregard that line where I say, dates haven't been confirmed yet. We're already starting a pretty roughly planned transition back. This transition is going to be slow, but it will surely get us seniors in by the end of the year. There could also be some senior event planned for the end of the year where we all get to hang out with each other. I hang out with school friends all the time. We don't need to sacrifice our structure plan for this year just so we can see each other. That's absurd. Having all of us back could even put graduation at risk. Another thing, this school is structured to have half the population at a time in the building. You've already seen how it's affected us because of the younger kids, they don't have room in their side of the building, so they use our lunchroom. Most of the desks are 6 feet apart. Me and Nick checked that. We're already on the edge of countless CDC guidelines, so what's a few more, right? Starting to sound like anybody from Texas. Just remember, as long as you have your masks on and you social distance, you could literally lick the floor in the gym and you wouldn't get COVID. All right now I'm exposed. Watch this. I'm gonna cure COVID right now. Vaccine schmack schmeen. Boom! COVID what? I'm gonna go lick some like the rusty old handles on the buses, like the public transportation. I'm gonna go lick a subway seat. I'm gonna go not wash my hands after going to this school. Ha! You thought you guys were safe. I have a theory. I think I'm onto something. I think I'm onto something big here. They want us back fully for MCAS, right? Now keep in mind, MCAS still hasn't been canceled this year, even though the Teachers Association does not want it to run this year. I mean, what do professional educators know that politicians don't, right? Even though you do need high MCAS scores, not even high, you just need decent MCAS scores to graduate. I somehow got a scholarship for good MCAS scores, so I don't know how that happened. They shouldn't go back until next fall. Having time to plan and strategize for every student going back as well as ensuring their safety is a much better idea. But hey, when have there been any good ideas from the Department of Education? Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, George, for your amazing personal opinion. Our very own Kevin Hillman is currently collecting donations for his capstone project on homelessness. He's working with Father Bills in Mainspring to collect items to help prevent homelessness. If you would like to donate, there are 2 boxes at door 14 to put donations such as household items, clothes, toiletries, and gift cards.
As the year is ending and you start thinking about what courses you want to take next year, all of us at Cold Blue News want to show you why video production is objectively the best choice.
It was the most influential decision that I've ever made in my life when I was 13 years old to start working with Zach and start working with like Dylan and Jenna and everybody at the HCAM studios when we were so small. It has influenced me to like come to film school and like try to like do that as a career.
It was the first time that I sat in a classroom or anywhere in school and I was like, wow, I could sit here for hours and be completely involved in what I'm doing and want to be doing what I'm doing. So it really helps me because now I'm going to school for like communications and production and all of that. And without Code Blue, I'd probably lost just doing random classes and stuff like that.
Through the video production program, I've learned the basics of filming, editing, and overall just producing my own stories every week. Besides working on the weekly show, I have also had the chance to attend virtual conventions and conferences to sort of branch out in the whole journalism field.
Thanks to the video production program, I know how to write a script, I know how to edit segments very well. Realistically, joining the club was one of the best things I've ever done, and in turn taking the class was one of the best things I've ever done because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was a lost child. Going into junior year, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and it hasn't changed at all, and it probably won't. Thanks, Caleb and Nick.
Yesterday, the Senate voted 92-6 to pass a bill addressing hate crimes targeting Asian Americans.
The bill is a response to the spiking Asian hate crime rate in the United States over the past year.
Vincent Tran is here with more information on the spike.
As reports of coronavirus have spread across the U.S., so have incidents of anti-Asian violence.
Crimes against Asian Americans who've been attacked, harassed, blamed, and scapegoated.
Verbal and physical attacks to blaming and shaming hate crimes and racist slurs directed at people of Asian descent have been on the rise in this country since the pandemic began. But
that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very
It's wrong, it's un-American, and it must stop.
Recently, there has been a rising presence of the Asian American Pacific Islander, or AAPI community, in the media. This could be due to the increase in reported anti-Asian hate crimes across America, which, according to the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism, has increased by around 145% from 2019 to 2020. This spike can largely be accredited to the pandemic, which has sparked a lot of anti-Asian sentiment nationwide. Perhaps one of the most prominent examples of a recent attack against the AAPI community occurred just about a month ago.
Tragic news, the deadly shootings in Atlanta, killing at least 8 people. A suspect is in custody this morning, and police across the country are on alert this morning as well, fearing the attacks may have targeted the Asian community. Steve Osensami is in Atlanta.
On March 16th, a series of shootings occurred in 3 different locations across Atlanta, Georgia. These shootings left 8 people dead, 1 white man, 1 white woman, and 6 other Asian women. This act has not been labeled as a hate crime, however, as the motive of the suspect is still being investigated. Regardless of labels or intents, these shootings have disproportionately affected the AAPI community, while also calling attention to the targets put specifically on the backs of the elderly and the women within the community. The surge of anti-Asian hate crimes being plastered across social media platforms and news outlets can be quite distressing for the AAPI community, affecting students in our own school.
On the topic of anti-Asian racism, I subconsciously had a feeling that it was going to happen because of COVID. I just feel like it gave people an excuse that they didn't really have before. Some ways that people can definitely help support the Asian community: supporting businesses, attending rallies, donating.
In addition to this interview, other students here at HMHS wanted to express their thoughts on the issue. Some have stated, "In this time when people are stressed and afraid because of the lack of what used to be normal, it's easy for them to simply find a scapegoat and take out their anger. In this instance, people shift the blame of COVID-19 to Asian Americans. The racism against Asians has always existed in our country, but now it's too clear to ignore. All they needed was one thing to excuse their actions, and the pandemic was the perfect catalyst. We need to work on debunking myths and stereotypes against Asians and educate ourselves on the diversity there is in the community." It is clear to see that this situation hits very close to home for many of your friends or students here at HMHS, making it an even more pressing matter to address. This has been Vincent Tran with Code Blue News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Vincent. That wraps up this week's show. I'm Angelo Rossi.
And I'm Matt Messina. Have a good April vacation.